We're here with Stephen Thaxton at Southern Tilt Pinball, and he's going to tell us a little bit about how he got started in the business and some of his machines.
Okay, well, I guess it was about 2010. Let me back up a little bit. Back in college and back in my younger days, I was always in the arcade. Mom would go to a grocery store, Walmart, and I would find myself gravitating towards the fun stuff. Yeah, while she shopped, like, and then I would always be in the mall arcades and all that kind of stuff. And it was mostly video games. And then I kind of got playing pinball, and I got where I liked it. And that was, college really, they have several machines in the rec rooms there. And me and my buddies would always battle each other to try to keep the grand champion score on there. One of them would knock us off, and we'd maybe skip a class or two to get it back on there, I always enjoyed it, but, later in life, you kind of drop that stuff and jobs and kids. Right. So I was scrolling Craigslist one day. Look, I had an idea of, maybe I want to get a pool table to put in the garage or something. That'd be something fun to do. And in the middle of me scrolling, somebody had that in a pinball machine. I said, oh, well, I always loved to play pinball. And that'd be a lot smaller, although when you have several of them, but they're smaller than a pool table. So I said, well, let me try to find one of those. And I found one somebody had in Louisiana. They had it for their kids. Their kids gone off to college, and their wife wanted it out of the living room. So I said, well, that sounds like perfect. You're right. So went and got it, and it needed a little work to get going. So I got, luckily, there was stuff on the internet, not as much as there was today, but I found some guides and some things and figured out how to fix it and got it going. And I said, man, that was a lot of fun. I want to do that again. And so it just started multiplying. And I found there was another guy from Brandon that also had a couple machines that was into it. So we got to knowing each other, and we started going to tournaments. But the closest place they had one is like New Orleans. So we would drive to New Orleans whenever they had a weekend tournament, play down there. And there's actually a IFPA is the International Flipper Pinball Association, which is like the sanctioned events with points and all that kind of stuff. So you have a ranking, a national ranking, if you've ever played in one of those tournaments. Each state has the top players, and the states play their championship every year, and then they go, whoever wins that goes to a national event. And it's a pretty big little, it's a niche thing, but it's big in the pinball community. So
the pinball's still alive.
It's still alive, and it's growing. It's got, the tournament scene has really stepped it up. And you said we were talking about toys earlier, and you said COVID really put a little bit of a damper on the toy. It had the opposite effect on this, because people were stuck at home and they wanted something to do. So the industry couldn't keep up with the demand of what they were selling, and people were buying machines and selling them for more than they paid for them, because people just wanted something to do. And it kind of and they were paying crazy prices for stuff. Now it's gone back down now. But it kind of exploded during that period of time.
That's kind of how the toy market went. Some of the figures, like the Motu figures that we're fixing for you, say a figure was $35. Well, it drove that same figure up $100 more than market value, because people had free money, they had free time, they got bored, they were on the internet all the time. So people seen that, well, we can charge more money because they can't get out and go get it themselves. And now it's at a more realistic number. So you can still afford to collect now, as that time was more, it was driven by that free money that we were given.
Right. Yeah. That was a big factor in it as well. And they're still high, and new in box machines are anywhere from $7,000 to $15,000 for a pinball machine. So it's more of a luxury item, but The used market has gone down a little bit. If I was smart, I'd just sold everything during COVID and got a ton of money and then bought them back out now, But
that's kind of how I couldn't afford to collect back then. I was able to sell, but I couldn't collect myself. And now, at this point, probably got a couple $100 in our entire collection. That's probably worth $10,000.
Right.
And part of that is the pinball machine that your boys are fixing for me. Mm-hmm. We picked it up for $400, and the guy delivered it to the house for $30. And I just gave Connor a chunk of money, and I told him whatever it cost over this, you let me know, and I'll take care of it. And I'm still in it for half of what I could go buy that machine for.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the fun part that makes me want to invest in like that Neo Geo cabinet that he has.
Yeah.
And really have like a diverse collection rather than just toys and just comic books or just ball cards. Now I can get into this.
Right.
So what would you say your oldest game that you have right now?
Oldest one is probably in here. I would say it's a 1975. It's in that other room probably.
Okay.
It's electromechanical, the one with the reels that doesn't have any electronics and it's all relays and switches, which is really amazing if you think about it, that they could do something like that with no computer, no microchip. It's all switches, relays.
Sort of like a clock.
Yeah, I mean, it keeps up with score. It knows how many balls you've got. It knows who's turn. And it's just full of these things. But
I think they mentioned that before, and then it become, instead of like automated, it become like a game of chance, and that's when all the electronic stuff kind of came about.
Well, I mean, back in the day, they didn't have flippers on them at first. It was more of kind of, you could bump and nudge stuff, but you didn't have much control over it. And then the flippers really did change it into giving you control. Back in Chicago, I can't remember what year it was, but they just about banned all of it because they considered it a gambling device, because they put it in a place, and instead of winning a free game, you might win a drink or win money if you had the high score or something, and they took machines out and destroyed them. But they finally proved that you could control what you're doing. It's just not all random. It's it has to do with skill.
So what would be your most valuable game that you have?
It may be this one right here.
Okay, the Monster Mash.
Because this is a remake. They made it in 1998, and they were just shutting down Williams. That was the end of Williams Pinball
Company, yeah.
And so they didn't make a ton of them, and people really, really liked them, but they were closed. They didn't make anymore. So not too long ago, I can't remember what year, maybe 2018, a company, Chicago Gaming, got the license to remake Williams, and they made them a little, they put the bigger screen, they made a little, but the play field's exactly the same. They didn't change the game, they didn't change the rules, but they, made a regular version, middle version, and this is the limited edition with the neat copper and all that, and powder coating. And when I bought it, I was going to buy the middle edition, but they said, well, you can get the LE, it's not that much more. And I was like, well, yeah, let me just go ahead and get it. And so I want to say it cost her a little over $8,000 for the LE edition at the time, and now people's getting it for $11,000-$12,000. Because they don't make the, they stopped making these, and you can't get them with a topper. And they were selling the top. People were buying the LEs with the toppers and selling the toppers, just taking them off because they didn't want them, and people were buying them for like $3,000, $4,000 for the topper.
Golly.
So, now I have an older machine that my wife and kids had bought, and they might have mentioned it to you. It's a Spirit, and that was a rare game I had. That was like that was the machine I went to Louisiana and got. And fixed it up, and I eventually sold it and kind of regretted doing it. But I sold it for a huge profit because it was so rare,
Right.
And I bought over in the other corner. There's a Walking Dead machine,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted that. I bought it new in box. I never had a brand new machine before,
Right.
so I sold it and bought it, and I was happy. But then I was like, well, I missed that game,
Right.
so I didn't know. But theirs had been looking for it all these years, see if
And
they could pick one up, and then they finally found one in Alabama, I think, and went and got it and surprised me with it. So,
Wow.
so it's a pretty
That's
valuable
awesome.
machine, especially when so I'm going to probably, I had thought about doing it myself, but I said, I want to, since this is a special machine, I'm going to send it to a professional
And
restorer and have it just fixed totally perfect.
That's kind of how I felt. I had the intentions of fixing that $6 million man machine myself.
Yeah.
And then Dewey, the guy that I got it from at Cherry Panda, he said, well, I got a guy that can work on it. I said, well, go ahead and send me his number. And it took about 3 days. And I guess Connor had went back in looking for it, noticed it was gone. And Dewey sent me his number. And the more that I listened to your boys talk, I said, man, I need to just let them do their thing. I mean, that's what they do. Let them do it. And they come over to the house. They were real respectful, honest, and I was very comfortable with them. And for the numbers that he was telling me, I said, well, if I were to restore it myself and tear something up, I'll probably do that much in damage. Yeah. So I might as well just let them have it. And we've been excited ever since. I mean, I had intentions of flipping it. Mm-hmm. And then after we talked more and more, I said, well, there's no point in getting rid of this machine. I could replace it for what I'll have in it. Yeah. And we got talking about the stand-up arcades, and that's when he told me that he had that machine. I've been looking for Metal Slug. Mm-hmm. That's one of my favorite arcade games. And he said, well, I got one. And so we've been talking about it. And so I guess back on topic, what are your overall plans for this?
Well, I mean, like, I'll back up to when I was getting games. You know, I got the one, and then I got another one, and then there was a deal. Somebody had like 4 machines. Mm-hmm. He was an old operator, and I was going to fix them up and put them in the game room, but they've been sitting in the shed. I'll sell them too. So I got 4, so then I'm up to 6, and then it just kind of progressive every time I saw a deal, and that's what allowed me. That's buying them cheap because they're broken, been sitting up, found in an old warehouse. If you can get a real good deal on and fix them yourself, you're not paying the.
And you've gained an ability.
Right, exactly. Gain skills, learn how to work on them, and so that's how I was able to build up as the stockpile of games that I have.
How many games do you have total?
My wife could probably tell you better than I could.
Cleans them.
I mean, in here, some of them moved because of the tournament we're going to have, but I think we have about 35 in here, 35 to 40, because I think you can get 15 on each wall, and then these in the middle. So anywhere between 35 and 40, and then I've got project machines. Right. I probably got 40 more project machines waiting to be restored. It's just, time is my enemy. If I didn't have to work every day and I could do it full time, I'd be happy and they'd get done. But you know,
pig and sunshine.
Yeah.
When's your next tournament?
The next tournament is not here. We have tournaments here, and let me back up just a second. So. I was putting them in my guest bedroom, and so they were getting overflowing. And me and I was dating Jessica at the time, and I was like, I got to do something about this because we're probably going to want a guest bedroom when we get married and everything for guests and everything. And I was like, well, I'm going to start building this building. So I built this building to put them out here, and the intention is to have tournaments and share them with people. Because, like I said, the closest tournaments that were going on was in New Orleans, and none in Mississippi. So if you play in Louisiana and you get Louisiana points, you have to play in the Louisiana State Championship. So Mississippi we were the only ones having tournaments when I started doing that. So we were the only place to go. Now there's a place in South Haven now, and another buddy up north has tournaments there. So there's a couple other places. but for a while it was the only place. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to start a tournament scene in Mississippi, and that's what led me to build my own building and put them in here. So ultimately, like, I don't know what the ultimate goal is, but we've gone to Comic-Con a couple of times and had a booth, partnered with the guys from that run the Comic-Con, and we said we just want to bring some machines, let people know pinball's still a thing, and if they've never seen one, let them play it. And there's also a charity that we support, which is a good cause. It's called Project Pinball.
Okay.
And what they do is they go around the children's hospitals and Ronald McDonald houses and some other places that have autistic children, like learning centers, and place machine. They raise money to place machines in like their common area, so when they're stuck in the hospital, they'll have something to do and everything. So we also had some raffles and had some contests and raised money, took donations to raise money for them. So and it was a big hit. The booth was full the entire time. We did that about 3 years, and one year we couldn't do it. I can't remember why. And we even went to Arkansas with them and did it up there because they said, well, we want you to run the arcade thing up there. So we missed the Comic-Con this year because there's a big show in Atlanta called Southern Fried Gaming Expo that we always go to, and it happened to be the same weekend. But they're doing a new show called the Mississippi Card Show, which is on the 19th, which is a sports and collectible card show. Sports cards, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, all that kind of stuff. And they're supposed to have
the White Goods supposed to be
White Goods going to be there. There's a few other. I think Lex Luger, the wrestler, is going to be there.
Met him, good guy.
I can't remember all of the. They just introduced somebody else that used to play with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So they've got about 6 or 7 sports and celebrities there. They're supposed to have a lot of card tournaments going on, and they called us and said, this is not going to be as big a show as the Comic-Con, so we're going to have some space, and we thought it'd be a good thing to bring pinball machines, and y'all can have a tournament. We have a free play area if y'all want to do that. And so he said, yeah, that sounds great, because I've always wanted to maybe have a Mississippi arcade pinball show, but never, I'm like, it's a lot of. It sounds like a good idea to you look into all the things you have to do. So I said, this would be a good way to get our feet wet, and it may expand into a whole show itself. But this is going to be the biggest tournament the state's ever had. With hopefully it'll get full, but it's 104 spots.
That's not bad.
So I mean, the biggest one I think we've had here, which is it was about 48 people. So it's a little over double of what the biggest tournament we've had in the state.
Be a lot to keep up with.
So yeah, we're splitting into 2 groups, a morning group, an evening group, and then we're gonna have the finals later. But we're excited about it. We're hoping it'll interest some people. It'll bring some people that are old hands at it, and it'll interest some new people. And just stir some more things. Maybe spark a show. These people that come to these shows. Because every time we go to the Comic-Con, there's always people, like I said, always people in the booth. They always ask me, where do you get these machines? Where can I play them? I said, well, there's not a whole lot of places you can go and play them other than here during a tournament or something, So
I've always wanted one, but you never see them for sale.
Yeah.
And she's the one that's seen it. I walked right past it and never seen it. And so I guess it was just meant to be.
Yeah. Well,
you got any final words? Anything you want to add?
No, I'm just glad to get somebody else in the. And I will give you a warning though. Once you get started, like I said, they tend to multiply. You got to be careful.
That's what they told me. Well, I've been itching. Like, this is one of them things. Years in the making. I've always wanted a pinball machine.
And say I warned you, because once you get into it.
But I guess my thing is I don't have the space. I could probably put the cabinet in there and then be like, no hand.
Yeah, sometimes space will be your a friend and help you. Yeah, exactly. But unless you're me and you just at one time I was just getting I got a mini storage. I'll just stick them in there to But
you gotta move out. This place just ain't big enough.
That's right. But yeah, if anybody watches this that wants to check us out, July the 19th, I think it opens at 10 o'clock at the Trade Mart downtown. It'll be, come to the card show. If you're not interested in pinball, it should be a good time. But there'll be a free play area if you don't want to play in a tournament. But I always say don't be scared of a tournament because there's going to be all kinds of skill levels there, and it's just for fun. It's not like a big everybody's gunning for one another. It's all a good time. So, and you may find something you love and really enjoy. So.
Well, thank you for your time, and I appreciate you letting us come out and check this place out.
Absolutely.
We've heard a lot about it.
I'm glad you could come.
All right, that's it, folks. Thanks for watching.
This one is probably I don't know if it's the first machine I ever played, but that's the first memory of one I had. It's Surf Champ. But yeah, these have the like the 4 reels on them that reset and everything. And it's all like anytime you see a pinball machine in a movie or something, even if it's a brand new one, like some of the ones you played with Godzilla or something, they're going to use sounds that sound like the bells and chimes. I don't know if one reason is because if they play the sounds, they have to play licensing for the sounds and everything. So you'll see a brand new machine and it'll sound like it's from 1973 or something because of
you don't have to pay for that.
Right, exactly.